What is up, y'all? We are in the building. The Salt Shakers, we're a little early tonight because we have a short show. We're going to be doing something really special. But of course, Battleground Podcast presents The Shakers Den. Come on now. God, wait. If you know, you know. Sometimes they mute you, sometimes they don't. Welcome to the Shakers Den, part one of Predictions Nights. Part two will be tomorrow. We have Impact Wrestling tonight. Of course, Impact Wrestling, hashtag Impact on Access TV, the best, the greatest, the number one post show for Impact Wrestling in the goddamn world. And it's here in the den. Make sure you are tuned in to all things Battleground Podcast and the Shakers Den. Of course, I'm at work right now. So this is why it's good to have a tag team partner, because you're able to have someone to fill in. Crazy schedule, but here we are. What did you think of tonight's episode? Did you have fun on the plane ride to the glass club?
Yeah, actually, I had a really fun time over there in the UK. I mean, we were there for the tour, and I felt as if, like, with the matches that they had, of course, gearing us up for Turning Point, I feel like it was necessary to take a stroll over there and check out some of the talent that they have and see if maybe we could see a little bit more of them over in Impact Wrestling when they become TNA in January. So, but tonight's episode was really, really good. You got to see a lot of talent from those who are over in the
Yeah,
UK and everything. So I thought I thought throughout the show it was really good. A great way to get you prepared for a Turning Point tomorrow.
absolutely. So we got to start off with our first match, Joe Hendry defeating Frankie Kazarian in a surprise ending, in what I would say, because I know Frank, the Frankster, the Frank man, as we like to call him, we know that he really needed and wanted this victory. I mean, after closing out such a heavy feud with Eddie Edwards, he's trying to get back to the Impact World Championship. He is a TNA original, and I think is someone who is even hungrier now with this announcement, but taking this loss kind of crazy. And Joe Hendry does become the Glasgow Cup finalist and winner
Mm-hmm.
of the cup completely. Great match. After the match, he was presented with the cup um, by Scott Demora, so that was really cool. But we have to get to the real business. Let me tell you something. The virtuous wrestling gods, okay, was not expecting that. We got a really cool promo with Moose, Brian Myers, and Deonna Purrazzo. And Purrazzo was very adamant about her match with Trinity, as we know, and we'll get into that a little later. Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo will go one-on-one tomorrow night for Turning Point. And if Deonna Purrazzo can't defeat Trinity, unfortunately, she will never be able to compete for the Impact Knockouts World title as long as Trinity is champion. Now, Trinity also has to worry about Jordynne Grace, who has called her shot for Hard to Kill January 13th. So there's a lot going on in the mixture of the Knockouts division, while Moose called his shot and Brian Myers is trying to keep his staple in the division. Each three of these competitors take on Subculture. And to me, I'm going to be very honest, was not expecting this to be the ending, was not expecting Deonna and Brian Myers and Moose to be standing tall. But if you think about it, they are gearing up for title matches, so it makes sense. But what did you think they were going to pull it off, or did you think they were going to give it to Subculture?
Well, sometimes you really can't pinpoint who they're going to give it to because Soul Culture has gotten victories that I was not expecting. I mean, hell, they became tag team champions over here. We're not going to get into that. But I was not expecting them to beat Deonna, Moose, and Myers at all whatsoever. But I can see why Moose, Myers, and Deonna won because of the fact that they need to have that strong momentum going into tomorrow for a Turning Point. So I mean that's something that they needed. And they got the victory. So, but it doesn't count out Subculture because Danny Luna, man, What's crazy is me going back to watch NXT UK and actually realizing that I've been looking at Mark Andrews for a while now, and I was like, where's Mark Andrews? The whole time he's literally been in my face on Impact. So I'm happy with the outcome of it. I think it's much needed.
Yeah,
It's an interesting team, I will say.
it
Deanna Ben
is.
and Myers was not really expected that, honestly, but they all work really well
Yeah.
together.
All six of these competitors were great. I mean, Danny gave Brian this like lowered clothesline to the
Mhm.
mat. And when I tell you, Danny is going to be one of those that you have to look out for. I know we joke on Poopinder winning
Yeah.
that, the one to look out for, but there's been so many other people that have been able to prove themselves. And Danny is one of those, like when we watched her match with Deanna a couple months back, she
Yeah.
is one of those that if you weren't paying attention to, you're gonna pay attention now.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird match. I don't have much to say about it because Trey did lose. I know Grado is this phenomenal entity in the world of wrestling, and everyone loves him, especially in the UK, and that's great. But he lost. I mean, Trey lost. So that's just, ugh. I hate it so much.
I have no
Anyway,
thought on this, honestly, because I mean, it was a great match. It actually was, but I was not truly expecting Trey to lose and everything. But it's kind of weird, of course, when you're over here in the UK, you're gonna bring them over into this territory. You at least gotta um allow some of them to at least get some victories. Did I expect Trey to be the one to lose this match here? Absolutely not. But he ended up losing, and I don't think it knocks off his momentum or anything
yeah,
like that. But maybe it needed to go to Grado.
I guess, honey. Congratulations. Of course, we get to some knockouts action. Trinity, one night before defending against Deanna Perrazzo, she took on Emeris Jane. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
And Emeris, at the beginning of the match, was not a good sports player.
Mhm.
She kicked Trinity's hand and gave her a big, this ain't no ROH shit, girl. We finna fight. And Jane really gave Trinity a run for her money. One thing that I do love about Impact Wrestling is that you may know who will win the match, but you don't know how good the match is going to be if you've never been introduced to the other talent. We've seen so many different talents come in, and it's really great to see because Trinity's being able to go all over the world and travel and then compete and then pay homage and then just really, I think this is a different era for someone who is a legend in this business. Trinity is in a position where she can reinvent her history, and a lot of people don't get that. And so I think it's very interesting to see. But Trinity wins, honey. What you think?
I think it's great for Trinity to have that victory because not only did we get a great showing from Trinity, but also Emirates as well. Like seeing her, she's new to me. I've never seen her wrestle before, but she does have this very aggressive style of wrestling to her that I think works well with Trinity, someone who is like basically full head on baby face in a sense. But I mean, Trinity winning, I did not suspect her to lose at all whatsoever. Like I said, we're on the heels of Turning Point, and Trinity and those people who have these big matches happening tomorrow, they need that momentum. Anything that could slightly take away from what they have going on for tomorrow for Turning Point can be detrimental to them, honestly. So for Trinity to get this victory, I think that is great. It was a great showing for what's her name, Emirates, and I think that's her name, and so on and so forth. So I think that was a great option and everything, but. Of course, we get to our main event and everything until Nikki gets back. We have the Detroit Machine Gun Kellys, I like to call them, versus Josh Alexander and Eric Young. This is our main event. Of course, this match here, this basically took up to maybe 20, 30 minutes of the towards the end of the show. And Eric Young, Josh Alexander, of course, being like a great tag together. But you definitely have to give it up for the Detroit Machine Gun Killers because no matter how much I could care less about them, they are one of the greatest tag teams like ever in like Impact 10A history. I will say they have been a tag for a very long time, and they're definitely the vets and the OGs. But I don't know. I feel like this match here could have went either way in a sense. But even though the Detroit Machine Gun Killers did gain the victory and everything, there's definitely a mutual respect for Josh Alexander, Eric Young, and the Impact World Champion and the X Division Champion. So they obviously need those titles as we get ready for rebrand in January. Yep, that is true. Impact Wrestling will be rebranding themselves back to TNA, meaning that I do know that they said that there's going to be new championships. Everybody who's a champion is going to get a new championship revamp for TNA wise and everything. And then, of course, Hard to Kill. It's like the first stop for everything. And then Snake Eyes is the fallout for Hard to Kill. So, yeah, I mean, TNA is back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are ready because I feel like next year, 2024, for TNA Impact, whatever, it's going to be quite interesting what is to come. Like, nobody, I mean, I know they're getting those upgrades and everything, but nobody really knows if there's going to be, what the stage is going to look like. They're going to have them go back through the tunnel and everything. We already know we're not going to be getting that 6-sided ring that a lot of us have been, wanting for or hoping for or dreaming about because it takes a little too much toll on the wrestlers' bodies. But maybe for a pay-per-view or something, keep it special. Slammiversary would be great for that. In a sense, like certain pay-per-views, I feel like would be cool. But if not, then hey, I think it is what it is. As long as I feel like there's going to be a lot happening for TNA next year.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm more on Scott D'Amore's side with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to happen at all. Like, and I think it's more about building it as well. Like, it's not just about protecting the wrestlers, it's about protecting your production team who may be not the same people from TNA, so they don't know how to do it or they don't want to put that risk. And I think I'm fine with that now. I think because it's just I hate to be this person, but it's just a cage. So for me, like, it doesn't do that much. Like, when Elimination Chamber came out, that was a big deal because people were literally going to be locked up. Yeah. There was so much ton. Look at the capacity of what they did and how damaging that was to those 6 men, even though some of those men are still wrestling today. 2 of them, at least 2 of them is still wrestling. And I think that that's the biggest point, but I think from a fan standpoint, I can understand why people want it because it's the nostalgia. It's a basis of TNA. Like, especially, like, could you imagine Hard to Kill opens up 6-sided ring, there's an X standing, like there's an X, and we didn't even know this was going to be a match. And then talent just starts coming through the tunnel, So I can get it from a fan standpoint, but we'll have to see. We are going to get into some predictions. I don't even know why they gave us this, and they're not even telling us who they're going to be in tag team action against. That's fine. On Countdown to Turning Point, the thing with Turning Point for tomorrow, if we decide to do a post show, funny thing, I will still be in the same location because I have to work, but it will be a surprise pop-up. So we haven't really made up our minds about it, but
right.
Grado, Rhino, in tag team action. Are you going with the surprise team? Or are you going with?
I'm gonna go whoever the next.
Same. I'm going in tag team action.
There are against in tag team action. That's what I'm going for. Whoever the tag team action is, that's who I'm with because I don't care about Rhino.
I think it's going to be.
I don't know Grado that much either. So
yeah, I think it could be. I don't know. I think it's going to be like a not a shocker, but like a I mean, I'm glad that I know that the spoilers are out, but I haven't seen anything, so I don't even.
I haven't seen either. This is like a
So,
great early bathroom break for everyone.
yeah.
They are facing jobbers. This is a bathroom break match, which I
Thank you, Joseph.
appreciate it.
We also have newly signed to Impact Wrestling on the countdown to Turning Point. Leon Slater will be taking on Mark Haskins, and I'm not familiar with Mark as much. I'm still new to Leon a little bit, but I am going with Leon because I do think that it just would make sense for him to win, especially with it being announced that he's a new signee. And I think this is going to be a great moment for so many different people who don't know who he is to be introduced to him and to the TNA Faithful 2024. So
that is true. I'm going to go with Mr. Leon as well. Man is only 19 years old and is signed to TNA, basically. So I'm excited to see what he excited to get to know a little bit more about him and also see, I know he's gonna be in those X Division matches. He has X Division written all over him, honestly. Like he's gonna put on some crazy bangers with people.
He is. We also, speaking of X Division, we have a really what to me is an X Division match. Rich Swann takes on Trey Miguel. Of course, I'm going Trey all day, baby, with this one, but I love me some Rich Swann. And I win. I like no matter what, I feel like,
I'm gonna go Rich Swann on this one and everything. That's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah. I think it could go either way.
It could. I mean, what exactly would be the outcome of this though? Will this be like an X Division championship opportunity or something? Because Rich Swann, he really doesn't get those that often.
Yeah.
In a sense. So I think that if he does win, it would be a great opening for him to have an opportunity at that title.
I also think too, though, like I think that this is just a match to put on a card that that's going to be good. Same with Frankie and Hendry tonight, same with the match that we'll get into a little later that was talked about briefly, but not too much because we only heard from one opponent. But I think this is just that match that you put on, like, and you're like, this is a banger for overseas. This is for our faithful. This is just like a not a bonus, but just kind of one of those things where it's like, these are two of our top talents who are really holding it down during the pandemic. And maybe you saw them during the pandemic and fell in love with them and never thought you were going to be able to see them. And now they're wrestling each other. And I think if you follow Revolver, it's just an awakening beef. Swann and Trey have crossed paths before. We move on. Of course, Joe Hendry will be taking on Simon Miller. I don't know. After getting the momentum tonight, I do think that Joe Hendry might actually pull this off.
I don't know, because I think Simon Miller is from what culture? I want to say. And he did try to press charges on Joe Hendry because allegedly Joe Hendry put him in a neck brace or whatever. So what culture? Yeah, I said that. So I'm for shits and giggles, I'm gonna go Simon Miller. Because I don't give a damn about Joe Hendry. I'm not in no culture.
I knew that anyway. I knew that was coming. I don't know. No, we'll get to see Simon. I'm not that familiar with Simon either. I think it's going to be really fun to see. Joseph says Simon is a personality on YouTube of what culture?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I know he's from what culture.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go because he's had his match before. He wrestled. Didn't he wrestle against Sir Wilkins that time?
I think he did.
And like what was it, Black WrestleFest or something they had going on?
He did.
Yeah, he's wrestled some matches before Simon had. So He be out there in the trenches doing something. So, but yeah, I'm going Simon Miller because
Yeah.
I don't follow behind that cult leader. Before we do move on, I do want to say the matches that we do have next week for Impact. Alex Shelley and Jonathan Gresham for the Impact World Championship. Deanna versus Tasha Steeles. And then Crazy Steve versus Tommy Dreamer for the it's a no disqualification match, so it doesn't look like that title's on the line. So yeah, that's how I'm
There
looking.
it is. I'm sorry, I had to. My Titans are up now. The Steelers. It's crazy how like people that I love in wrestling, a lot of them are Steelers fans, so I have to turn on them on some good old Thursday night football. But we move on. Frank Kazarian, for whatever goddamn reason, will be teaming up against Chris Sabin because Shelley is apparently injured. So I don't even know how he's going to show up next week, which is crazy.
I think he should vacate his title. If you're injured, you should vacate your title, Shelley.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not fair.
That's not happening. You do get at least one more pay-per-view to make it. Mickey got one more pay-per-view to make it, and then she had to relinquish. They're not just gonna make him drop it. Like they did a big deal on him becoming champion. If I would be shocked if Shelley doesn't walk in TNA as the champion because everything that they've done is pretty much wrapped up. So if he was to have to relinquish, I would be shocked.
So Frankie was supposed to be in the triple threat match with Ray.
He was, and that was apparently supposed to be a number one contenders match. Not sure what title. Not sure if it was for the X Division Championship actually, or was it for the World Championship? Don't know. But I don't see Frankie and Sabin getting on the right path. I think that Brian and Moose have to win because they have to stay strong. And I think once Moose wins this title at Hard to Kill, Brian can turn and then Brian can become champion and then get closer to being a Triple Crown. If he hasn't already won the tag team titles. Wasn't him and Cordona's tag team title champions? No.
Him and Cardona may have won those tag titles.
Maybe. But I know he's won digital media. He needs to win. Apparently that has not been changed from what I was told. So from what I'm told, if you watch Revolver, Jake and Shelley will be defending their championships against each other. Here we go, y'all.
Yeah, so Nikki's at work, as you can see, but it looks like they both Jake and Shelley will both still be defending their titles at PW Revolver. So for me in this match here, I honestly could care less in a sense because I don't really truly care about any of these people. No, Nikki doesn't get in trouble on her jobs.
I've been here 7 years. I am the job.
She is the job.
No one else is here. Like I'm the job. If I didn't sit here,
right?
I could answer the phone on camera, but I don't like how I look when I talk to customers on camera. That's now I'm giving y'all wait until next week when I work third shift and y'all are trying to figure out how I'm streaming and we're here live and I'm streaming the game and we're having game night at my job.
I'm fucking dreaming. That's why I asked the question and her phone went to ring. Okay, so because I don't care about anybody winning this match, I guess I'll go Moose and Myers as a safe bet. But then again, would you want your X Division champion to lose in this match here? Because remember, they do give these old people everything they want. But I'm just gonna go Moose and Myers. That's all. Because I don't care about either one of these people. Nobody.
Me neither. Well, besides Moose and Brian.
I'm gonna tell you
the Frank man. I thought you meant like I don't care about neither one of these, like Sabin and Frank. I care about Frank now only because with Tracy Brooks is out.
Yeah, go check it out.
You heard before she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that interview is up on Battleground Podcast YouTube, our YouTube, The Shaker's Den. We will be running that. We will try to run the interview as much as we can on Thursdays. And then we'll also be running this episode later tonight. So you'll actually get to see a double dose of that on our Twitch, which is going to run in between me trying to stream, which is, didn't even think about that. But yes, we move on, of course. Team Canada trying to get back together. Josh Alexander, Eric Young, EY in the building, TNA original. To me, Josh Alexander is an Impact original. The way he has held it down for us for so long, being the champion. But not right now, Josh. You know, we got to move aside. We got to let the wrestling god have his moment. And maybe you'll get your revenge down the line, sacrifice. I don't know. But they will be taking on Subculture. I feel like you never know with the Impact booking. So I don't know if Josh and EY are together to feud or if they're actually going to be together, because that's what I thought with Brian and Moose, and I was wrong. Yeah. So I'm still going to pick Subculture because after tonight, I do think that they need a big win, especially to get them back to solidified as a tag. But if Josh and EY win, I'm thinking that they're going to go after the titles. Maybe. I don't know. Who you rocking with?
I'm gonna go with Subculture. I become a fan of Subculture only because of NXT UK. So I'm rocking with Subculture. Of course, they wear my classic colors, black and white. If I was ever to be a wrestler, my colors would be black and white only. I would never add another color in there. It would just be black and white, simple. You can do so much with it. I can come out in all white. I can come out in all black. I can mix and mingle. So yin and yang. So I'm gonna go with Subculture. No shade and Eric Young, but
no shade. Just all tea. No shade, honey.
Will Ospreay.
Listen, okay. I know that Will Ospreay is probably the best wrestler in the world right now. Okay. Before Will Ospreay was in New Japan, Eddie Edwards was in New Japan. And I don't think Eddie gets enough respect. I say this all the time. Eddie is literally one of my top guys. I know Santana has already put in her vote for Will. I do think Will is going to win, but I feel like I'm winning because what I want the most out of tomorrow night, and I think this is why it's so important for us to cover things that we love the most, because tomorrow night is a time for me to watch other people be either introduced or reintroduced to Eddie talking about things to Eddie Edwards. And I want people to understand that Will is an entity and is one of the greatest wrestlers, and Eddie is just that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're comparing Eddie to Will Ospreay. I absolutely am, because when I got in this business, I did a lot of studying, and Eddie was someone who I'm obsessed.
Yeah, Nikki has to go handle some customers. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay because I feel like Turning Point is exactly about Will Ospreay. I mean, he won at Bound for Glory. I feel like they need to keep that up with him being who he is being Will Ospreay. Then you have someone like Eddie Edwards. I'm not the biggest Eddie Edwards fan, but I will never take away from that man's wrestling ability because I've seen this man wrestle on multiple occasions, and he's went up against some of the best of New Japan and everything. And being someone who was a part of New Japan, I think that he and Will have a really, really good match. It could possibly be that match of the night. You have someone like Will Ospreay, who is, this man does absolutely crazy, wild things in the ring. You have Eddie, who is such a brawler and technical person, who's going to try to take down Will Ospreay and keep him from doing all that flippy dippy shit, as y'all like to say, in the air. But you cannot count out either one of these men. This match could go either way, but I definitely do think Will Ospreay will be taking this victory home.
Yeah, I agree. I want as a fan, I hope and pray that people can see how important, like, I want people to see Eddie is just as important to pro wrestling as Will Ospreay, as a Speedball, as a Jay White when it comes to the men, as a Trinity, a Deonna, Giselle Shaw, a Jordan Grace, a Charlotte Flair, a Bianca Belair. Like, there's so many people that are important to wrestling, and they get to they get to be showcased in that manner. And I hope and pray. I know Eddie is not everyone's favorite, but he's my favorite, and I'm gonna be watching this. I swear to God, if he wins, y'all will never. You will never. This is Ospreay beating, like, losing to Eddie would be like a Charlotte Flair win for me. Like, because everyone's doubting him. You know?
Yeah, I can see that in a sense with Eddie. I mean, I'm not the biggest overall fan of both of these gentlemen. In a sense, but I've like I said, I've seen both of them wrestle. And both of them, I don't think you can ever underestimate either of those guys, but I do know that Eddie does get a lot of hate. He definitely not you, Eddie, but Eddie Edwards gets a lot of hate on social media or just period, you know what I'm saying? But Eddie, he's great in the ring, honestly. And that's come from somebody who definitely does not care for Eddie Edwards. But like I said, I cannot care for you, but I can also give you props and tell you that you do great at your job. You know, I may slightly care a little bit because you stopped messing with my granddaddy. And so you are right now. I don't have anything bad to say until you start, messing with my granddaddy again, and then we're gonna have a problem, Mr. Edwards.
Hopefully, because he did sign it. He did sign.
Hopefully not. Okay, I don't need you coming over here messing with my granddaddy. All right, I've had enough.
We have 2 matches left, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Giselle Shaw will be taking on Alex Windsor. This would be my first time seeing Alex Windsor wrestle. I do think that Giselle is trying to get back to the Impact Knockouts World Championship. So I think she needs this win. I think she's going to get this win. You don't come over here into this girl's world and think that you're going to just pick up a victory just because we're in your territory. Giselle plays home away game. She don't give a damn. Okay, she's gonna make sure. She gonna make sure. So I'm going with Giselle.
I would go for Giselle.
Yeah.
In this sense, but I'm still gonna go for Giselle.
Okay. There it is.
I just feel like Giselle, man, like I'm only gonna go with what I know, and that's I know Giselle. I've seen her work inside of the ring. I'm not that too familiar with Alex Windsor. Maybe I need to look at some of her matches, see what I can gear myself up to, and see what she's about. By going against Giselle, because Giselle was literally MVP at the New Japan show. Honestly, Multiverse, she was definitely MVP. She was putting out a lot of different spots and everything like that. So I think that Giselle will probably get this victory over Alex Windsor. But maybe it'll be like a good introduction to who Alex is and see what she's all about.
I hope so. And of course, the last match that we have, Trinity defends her Impact Knockouts World Championship against Deonna Purrazzo and the special referee of Gail Kim, which is very interesting because we really didn't get the backstory much tonight on even why Gail will be the special guest referee. But the last time that Gail was involved with a Knockouts World Championship, she was costing someone that title. And I don't see Trinity losing, but I don't know what Gail is going to do. I don't know what Gail has planned. I don't know. We do know that, as we mentioned before, Deonna has to win or she can't face Trinity for the Knockouts World Championship as long as she is champion. So that's a pretty big stipulation. And Drama King made a very clear point tonight that when Deonna's backed up against the wall, that's when she's the toughest. Hopefully becoming a 4-time. I'm rooting for Deonna. I'm glad we're getting this match again. I'm rooting for Deonna, but I do think that Trinity walks out of Turning Point tomorrow night and Steel, honestly. So
yeah, I think Trinity does retain as well. Especially with, you can't really too much trust Gail in a sense, but you don't never know what type of mindset Deonna is in, because I mean, she's been on the opposing side where this is somebody's last chance to face her, and if they don't win, then boom, as long as she's champion, you can't get another title opportunity until now she's on the other side where she is a challenger, and if she cannot defeat Trinity, if Trinity taps Deonna out again, girl, I don't think that outcome is going to be the same at all. I don't think that this time Deonna would tap out. Trinity's going to have to pull out something else in her book in order to defeat Deonna, because I think Deonna's paid attention to Trinity a lot more to know that, hey, she puts me in this finisher and goes into a submission move, I need to roll her ass up. Like, literally. So I don't know, but I do feel like Trinity is going to retain. Definitely.
Same. I do too. But I know it's going to be a good match. If we do decide to do a post show, we'll do something a little different. Might do like a gaming night involved with Turning Point, going over some things like, wow, you watch me game. You can listen to Santana give all of the whatever happened with Turning Point, or we might just actually just call out the results on the game, the gaming night, but we'll try to do something at least. We do have now, before all of this, tomorrow between, let's just say 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Central Time ish. Maybe early, maybe later, depending on where we are with our schedule, right? We're doing predictions for Crown Jewel. You said what?
I said it definitely depends on me.
No, it just depends, but we will have live predictions, even if it's just for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. We will have predictions up and running live tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. That will be for Crown Jewel. We won't be doing a post show for Crown Jewel, but we'll be here. We'll be live tweeting, so make sure you follow us on Twitter at Nikki Bougie and, of course, at Holistic. Make sure you're following Battleground Podcast as well, because these predictions are for Battleground Podcast and for the Shakers Den, brought to you by the Salt Shakers. We will be doing some more really cool stuff. Look for the fashion show on Sunday. We're going to try to do that. But we've been doing the do. So this was an early show, so you'll be able to catch another show a little later. It will be scheduled out and live at our regular scheduled programming time, which is 11:30 Central. And we have some really cool stuff. I still have a lot of content to post that I just didn't get to. It happens. So maybe I'll do that over the weekend.
Hello.
Absolutely. For still there. I'm still checking the Titans. I think the Titans are up now with the Steelers. So, Britt, sorry, girl. We in the fourth quarter now, 12 minutes, 16-13. Great. Amazing. So, thank y'all for tuning in.
I'm going to go watch Invincible because prepare my life.
I'm going to go watch Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie edition that was brought out 2009, because Halloween is extended for me until the 15th because of wrestling. I'm doing that now because there's so much wrestling. I don't get to watch all of my Halloween stuff, so I'm extending it at least until the 15th, and I'm going to be jam-packed this weekend watching all kind of shit, just having stuff turn on. I'm having a day where I'm just like, me and Santana, sometimes we have these days where we just sit in the house all day. We don't do anything. Like, nothing.
That's about every day.
That's like damn near your life, but that's about to change.
Yeah,
That's what
this is my last week.
3 weeks.
I'm about to be free. Tomorrow is my free day. I get released from jail.
Oh my God. Please give these folks some well, they know you're not in fucking jail.
You know, listen, this could be what they like to say, a green screen. You know,
Girl.
I have been in jail for 7 days since Sunday, and tomorrow is my release date and everything. Before I go back to the free world and live my regular life. So Nikki has been here the whole 7 days with me, you know, conversing and everything, and it's been a great time.
It's been a wild time.
It's been a while. Listen, I've seen so many things happen inside of this
So
state,
many.
and I
To
enjoy
the
everything.
point where you never know what you might see tomorrow night on the stream for the release party. We might have a release party. I will say this: I want us to at least show our faces tomorrow night. So no matter what we do, I might have to bring the. I might have to bring. I need to buy me a traveling bag for the PS5 because this is getting out of hand.
I mean,
I'm probably gonna set up some. I'm not even kidding y'all. We're probably gonna do like a long stream. Like
it's very possible that that's something like that could happen because Nikki will definitely be in the same spot that she is tonight, and that is at work. And so I will be released from prison and everything, and you know, I have a lot of freedom in jail. So they, you know, sometimes you gotta work for that freedom and everything. But nonetheless, once again, definitely check out our Instagram at the Shakers Den. Check out our Twitter at the Shakers. Check out our YouTube at the Shakers Den. And check out Battleground Podcast and everything and stuff. I see some of you guys retweeting our stuff on Twitter. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for always coming in and hanging out with us here in the Shakers Den and everything like that. We won't waste too much of your time because I don't know how much longer Nikki has before she has to get back to work. But once again, as always, we thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here at the Shakers Den on Battleground Podcast. We will see you guys tomorrow for our Crown Jewel predictions and also gaming with the Salt Shakers too. So enjoy the rest of your night, you guys, and we'll see you guys on tomorrow.